ongoing labor strikes across Hollywood. I'm Chris Coraggio, NBC News Radio.
You're listening to KCAA Loma Linda at 106.5 FM, K293CF Moreno Valley.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the FarronDozier Show on KCAA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAARadio.com website. Sunday night, let's get this show started. We got to pray over the show. You know how it goes. When I was in my mother's womb, I had a calling on my life to do something in the glory of God and marry it like a wife. Commit myself to his word and never be led astray. And when it's all over, when he comes, I'll be glad to see that day in the morning time. All right, again, good evening. It's the FarronDozier Show on KCAA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAARadio.com website, the station that leaves no listener behind. Tonight, got a very good show for you tonight, and I'm not here by myself. I got my man Ipiani here. Coach Will is here. Shouts out to Rob out there somewhere in the valley, wherever he's at. You know, we're going to have some discussions tonight. Got two callers. We got maybe some more callers toward the end of the segment here for some sports. So we're going to have some sports, some entertainment, some current events. I'd like to talk, fellas, about college football real quick. I could tell you in my 53 years, I have not cared any about college football, watched. But Dion, man, got me watching college football now, man.
He got a lot of us watching football.
Yeah, man.
Your bike is...
No, where I'm at, I'm definitely locked in, tuned in. You know, a few guys on the field, you know, young recruits that's getting a chance to be out there. It's crazy, man, but it's a beautiful thing to see. You know what I mean? The growth, you know, the efficiency, doubt, proving the naysayers wrong and doing it with class. So that's the most important part.
I had no doubt that game, they were going to win that game. Even when they got down 11, it was like, just wait till the second half, bro. My buddy Jordy's like, nah, man, they going to lose this game. I'm like, nah, bro, it ain't over till the clock stop, bro.
That's true. It ain't over till it's over.
Yeah, no, I definitely knew that. I never thought they'd lose, even when they got down. They just, I just understand the talent on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And they were, reviving a rivalry game. Just a bunch of emotion that went into it. And I knew that Colorado State was actually riding that surfboard.
Yeah.
And that doesn't last. The adrenaline's not going to rush all night. It has its, you know what I mean? It fluctuates.
Exactly.
So I knew that if Colorado had a chance, if they were in reach, they deliver. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm a believer, man. I'm just a believer.
It was good.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've watched the complete games each time,
right?
And that's something that I've not even with professional NFL, especially these last few years, but that one has caught my attention.
Definitely.
Just that father-son, the sons, it's like all of that. There's some energy there.
Yeah.
And this is like a success story in the making, like right in front of our face, man.
Yeah.
I know that pick six for Deion Sanders' son, and wearing his same number, 21, and took it to the house. I know that had to be a very special moment for the father.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the thing that really interests me outside of the game itself was the comments of the Colorado State University black coach.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't know that he was a black coach, you would assume that he was a white man, with the comments of, when I talk to people, adults, I take off my glasses and my hat. And it made me go, and that's a lot of the flack he's getting is about that slave master kind of mentality.
Yeah.
And he kind of brought that on himself. You know what I mean? So that was very interesting as well, because it was like, the field and the house, you know what I'm saying? So that dynamic was
your
very
style is your style. There's no rules on your self-expression. If I'm gonna wear sunglasses all day long, I'm gonna wear sunglasses all day long.
We free, brother. We free, brother. We's free.
So let's play this public service announcement, and then we're gonna bring on the Zoom conversation, and we'll get that started. Again, this is the FarronDozier Show on KCAA Radio. You feel like being a guest on the show, you have some comments at Sports Collective Media on Instagram, Facebook, and we'll reach out to you and respond. Shout us out. What's the count?
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes. in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Comago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Comago.com to learn how you can get Comago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
Zetovia salve, made from natural and organic ingredients, good for inflammation, poor circulation, hemorrhoids, yeast infection, lip sores, dry coughs, eye pain, minor cuts and bruises, and ready to purchase at BotanicaHerbalCO.com. 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 Sickle cell trait is an inherited gene. Most people aren't aware of the risk factors and how this gene is inherited. For more information, visit WDCONSCT.org. You're listening to The Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM in the Inland Empire. Also streaming from the KCAARadar.com website, MBR Radio, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, Google Play, Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, Podcast, Stitcher, Amazon Radio, just to list a few. Oh yeah, and the streaming videos are located at Tiki Live or Rumble under the Farron Dozier Show. Catch us live or catch us on the archives at Farron Dozier Show. Shout us out, what's the count? Visit FarronD.com for more information. All right, welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Again, streaming from the KCAARadar.com website. So if you got to get out of your car, grab your device, your laptop, type in KCAARadar.com, click listen live or watch live, and you can catch us streaming on video, but also across the airwaves as well. So what's happening, Coach, man? Everything's cool, man? What's going on, man?
Great. Everything's great. Great season, man. You know, ahead. A lot of great things going on just across the football world. You know what I mean? It was a crazy week of football.
Yeah.
You know, especially high school sports is, I love to talk about high school football, college football, on all levels. But, we bring a lot of our guests on from the high school football realm, and it's just a lot of really good football being played. Last night, or this weekend, St. John Bosco lost a game, which was kind of like, unheard of. In some
finally
ways.
they're human, huh?
Yeah, definitely. It was a close game, so I was, they traveled to Hawaii and they lost a big game, I think it was 23-30.
Yeah.
So that was a really big deal. You know what I mean? And then, seeing some of these new teams that are just popping up and 5-0 teams that are just being productive, like one of the young men we plan on bringing on, Damien High School out here, nearby Laverne. They're a really good program. They're doing things the right way. 4-0, 5-0 start right now. You know what I mean? So that's a good start to the season for some of these young guys, and some highs and some lows for some other teams. You know what I mean? I know there's some teams out there that, look to have some blazing starts, and it didn't kind of go that way. But it's still, it's a lot of football to be played, and
still kind of early, right?
Yeah, a lot of playoff opportunities out there, and those guys who make starts to get good later in the season, that's when it gets scary. Just like on any level, the teams that start to get it together, gel, mold, and kind of transition, it starts to kick in towards the end of the season and playoffs.
Is it safe to say that portal is closed?
You know what, man? It's crazy because with CIF football, it's been a lot of kids they have a new commissioner, so there's a lot of kids that didn't get cleared to play and all kind of things. And I just think for me, I just feel like the kids should be able to play ball where they want to play ball. You know what I mean? If a school wants to load up and they have to deal with all that talent, then that's kind of like a school issue.
Right.
But, in some way, CIF is trying to, help it remain fair. I guess, and that's fine too. But I just feel like, you shouldn't make a kid sit out 5 games. You only get 4 seasons to play the sport.
Right.
And I just think they should let the kids play ball. But that's just an opinion I have.
Yeah, that's a fair.
I imagine that the kids love the sport, and they're probably willing to play the sport wherever they can play the sport. But I imagine a large part of that is probably the parents trying to hedge the bet and get their son or daughters to schools, these like modern day and things of that nature, to try to hedge the bet to give them a better chance of hopefully getting a scholarship and potentially even going to the league. So I imagine there's a lot of that in there as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, I look at the perspective of not just the people who are trying to get ahead, right? And getting their kids into a Bosco or Modern Day or a high-end Trinity League program. I'm looking more like, let's think about the kids some of those kids grow up in Watts and Compton and the Valley, ghetto pockets and just different things like that. And these people, I'll say, work really hard to try to make a better life for their children, right?
Yeah,
so you always look at what you went through, and you're always trying to better the situation that your child went through.
Yeah.
So I think a little part of that impedes with that process.
Oh yeah, for
right?
sure.
Because I'm trying to give my kid a better life. He shouldn't have to be, stuck to this, this radius because we live here. I should be able to live here, work here, but give my kid a better opportunity. And maybe that doesn't come in the form of a community. Maybe it's just the school that, he attends, and that gives him a chance to kind of escape some environments. And that's why I used to, Los Angeles used to have a busing program.
Yeah,
where they bring the kids, bring the kids from the Los Angeles
to the
Valley, and the Valley kids could go to Los Angeles, or it was a move, right?
Yep.
And when you don't allow that, I think that just what I mean. That's just a little too much, right? Because everyone minimizes it only to the sport, whether it be basketball, football, whatever. They minimize the reason of your kid being in a different area, and they minimize it to just a sport when it's not just about that. It's about opportunity,
development
sometimes.
and all that.
And as well as, normally at those prep schools and stuff, you do get a much better level of education in comparison to the public schools.
Yeah,
and yes, I was a part of the busing program here in San Bernardino. I grew up on the west side of San Bernardino. I was bused to the north end to North Park Elementary. So that really shaped my outlook on the world, being surrounded by diversity, many different religions, colors of people. And then when I went back to school on the west side of San Bernardino, primarily black and Hispanic, I was the white boy because I listened to rock and roll. I listen to rap and hip hop as well, but I love classical music.
Exactly.
So it's many dynamics there.
So we got a special. We're music, sports talk, all the above, veterans. Coach Will, I appreciate you bringing tonight's topic to the table, man. You want to kind of lead us into that?
Well,
space?
Tonight it's not just. Obviously, we always talk all forms of entertainment.
Yeah.
So that's what tonight is about: is us continuing that walk that we're on with, giving people opportunities to voice themselves on a great platform. With Sports Media Collective on the FD show. I think that we always have been very supportive and up and coming talent and different avenues like this. But these two ladies that are coming on tonight, they are special. Their resumes are extensive, and it's a blessing to have them on and really give them a chance to tell us what they're involved in and how they're helping, young student athletes not young student athletes, but young student actresses and actors, in that realm of entertainment. So it'll be great to, give Miss Shaniqua Reed and Miss Carla McCullough an opportunity to come on and really give us a dose of what they're into. Looking forward to hearing more about some things that they have going.
So how are you?
We're doing great. How are you?
We're great. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
So, Carla, how about you go first and kind of introduce yourself? Don't give it all away, just a little bit background.
Okay,
and then.
all right, just a little bit. So my name is Dr. Carla McCullough. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. So for anybody from Chicago out there, and I am writer, director, also an educational leader, and the creator of the movie Mint College Reunion.
Thank you.
Nice.
And next?
Yes. Hi. I am Shaniqua Reed. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. I'm very proud of my Cowboys right now.
Right.
Out there.
All right, you earned that. You
Also
earned
a
that.
proud member of Delta Sigma Theta. But yeah, I'm one of the producers of the movie College Reunion, the first AD as well on the film, and that's kind of where my background goes into production and acting.
And so, reading some information about that and what the movie is supporting, let's talk about the tackling the chronic absenteeism. Can we start there?
We definitely can. We definitely can. So the film itself is about three women who reconnect for their 45th HBCU college reunion. But we knew we couldn't just make a movie about college reunions and not tackle this issue of chronic absenteeism that's happening right now. Since the pandemic, many students, Black and Brown in particular, have not returned to school. And so we know if they don't return to K-12 and they don't graduate, then they are at risk of not having their own college reunion. So we decided that we were going to make a fictional movie and we were going to change our real world at the same time.
Amazing.
So how do we pull this label off, right? I know you started out with, especially the pandemic is the most recent. I mean, that just was such an interrupt globally. I mean, that was a global issue, but there had already been some issues with absenteeism way before that, right? So how did the pandemic just like add another layer or some icing to that conversation about the students having issues attending school and the absenteeism? Like, what did you see before that point?
Yeah, that's a great question. So before that, particularly at a lot of schools in the inner city, many students were already consistently absent. So part of that might have been what was going on at home, but then also there are some things about school that maybe were not as interesting. And so I love what you all are doing in reference to sports, because we need to make sure that we have more extracurriculars, not just sports, but arts and music and dance, more things that get students excited in addition to the regular core curriculum. So I think part of that was also the reason why so many students were absent, and then the pandemic and having to do everything online just really exacerbated the issue. And then when school started back, students just didn't return.
How deep can I go in this conversation with the absenteeism? How can I go there a little bit with you?
Yeah, go for it.
I was thinking about the title, and I was thinking about the film and especially the K through 12 and me putting myself in that situation, and there's so much emotional stuff in the background of children. We got how the school system is already, but then you have what's going on in that house dynamic. You got the bullying, you got the silent traumas that are happening in the environment. You got so much going on. Even if you open the door for that child to have that ability to step into these new conversations, what is your process or thought process on those emotional things that are going on? Because sometimes, it's like, hey, there's a lot of stuff that happens silently in families, and students are coming to school with all this weight on their mind. What part of that do you address?
That's a great question. I think many schools have so many resources. So whether it's counselors that are at the school site or whether it's additional counseling and things that they bring in. But part of that too is making sure that the family gets additional support. So that's why College Reunion is more than a movie. We're a movie meant, because we know it's going to take more than even a village. It literally is going to take all of us hyper focus in on our children to make sure they get the social emotional support they need in addition to the educational pieces.
Right. Definitely. I have a quick question for Ms. Reed first, and then Ms. Carla, you could handle it. It's a two-part question. As far as what do you think are some of the solutions to address the absentee issue that we're facing? And then as well as here in California, they're through the school system, they're creating a community hub for the school, where they're trying to make the school a hub for the community. So the parents come in, sit next with the teacher, and they work on the curriculum, kind of like that village that you were just describing. What are your thoughts about that as well, Ms. Reed?
Well, my thoughts of what we are practically trying to do here with the college reunion, I'm not sure if you're aware, we made phone calls to a lot of the students trying to figure out why they could not come back to school so we could address some of those issues. And it's sad that, unfortunately, it's just out of their control. So what we are just trying to do within our own is trying to figure out ways to make it more creative for them. And that's hopefully working with Sports Collective as well, is like figuring out ways that gets them excited about attending school, get them something incentivized or something like that. But whatever we can do to reach them, whether it's if they're again with the arts, figure out stuff to help like behind the film, like try to create something documentary style, just so we can get them involved. On top of maybe bringing like directors and actors, other people that just kind of would help them be more interested in school. And we know with sports that also tackles that as well. So we wanted to figure out, again, why they're not coming to school, how can we address these issues and be able to work with, which we're doing with, I'm hoping I can say this with, can I say it or no? We're also working with the other school. But we're working with schools. I don't want to say and put my foot in my mouth, but we're also working with colleges as well. Right. So we can be able to help them go from, high school to transition to college. So we're doing everything in our part to make sure that we can be more than just, again, a movie. It's just so much that goes around or behind this. And that's why I'm again, part of it. Sigma Theta, and I'll let Carla continue with that.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. The other piece that we're not addressing is the fact that right now Hollywood is on strike. Yeah. And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of folks who are out of work, who are walking the picket lines, who are fighting for their rights. Well, while they're doing that, we also know we literally have a national teacher shortage. So one thing that College Reunion has instituted is a College Reunion substitute pool, so that folks in the entertainment industry can fill some of the void for substitute teachers while we wait out the strike. So that's another way, again, to call students back to school, to get them interested, to have them hearing from folks who work various jobs. So not just actors and writers, but production designers, producers, so many different folks. So that's one additional way, is the College Reunion substitute pool. And then we also have these attendance summits coming up where they'll be held at local colleges, and it's an opportunity for teachers and educators in K-12 to come together and problem solve. What can we do at the school site? Because there's so much happening at home, but we can only really control what happens for those 8 hours. So what can we do in the 8 hours across schools, not just in California, but across the country, to make sure students are coming back?
Amen. Amen.
There's a part of this conversation for me that, being myself in the military, we have athletes that come here, but with those Title I schools out there, there's like 40,000 different types of, Title I schools out there. And those children, those students, some of their environments only give you like 4 options. You be a rapper, an athlete, a soldier, or a gangster. It's like, there's those kind of conversations, and there's so many different jobs available out, in the 40,000 different types of jobs there that a person could, engage himself in. And I'm like, if my environment is so thwarted by old conversations, perspectives of the governments, the issue, like all these, then I don't get that opportunity to include myself. Like, to me, emotional and diversity, all that, it's not just what you do for me. It's also, I have to also experience that for myself, right? So then how do we help that piece? And that's something that I want to like kind of contribute to is, you can open up these doors for me, but if my environment has taught me, well, hey, you got to go get a job, but you got to go to McDonald's, you got to go do this because we need to pay the rent here at the house. Like, all those different things that can happen in that environment, and that child doesn't even see themselves being a writer or going to a HBC, like, because of what that environment does. So how do we, my thing is, how do we begin to, like you say, in the families, create that space so they can have that freedom to have, okay, I don't just have to be a rapper or play football or go to the army or be a gangster. I can actually go, I could be a part of football, but there's so many jobs connected to being in the NFL. There's so many jobs connected to the NBA, behind the scenes stuff that you could enjoy just as much as catching a pass, Amen. But our environment doesn't allow that experience to even feel like, yeah, I could actually be a writer or produce films. Like, so to me, that's the part that I want to help kind of open up that door with the conversation.
Hello, ladies. Just briefly, while kind of keeping things in the realm of giving you an opportunity to talk about the film, I had a question, like, what made you, beyond the obvious of what it could be, what made you guys kind of focus the film around HBCU programs, right? And how can that bring attention to kind of like similar to what Deion Sanders is doing and what he did at Jackson State University, and then took that same energy and that same commitment over to Colorado. And what he really did was he brought attention to the financial department and the investments of what the finances in these colleges who have been here for, thousands of years or 100 years, whatever it may be. How can the film also bring attention to the financial, side of things that would help, these type of opportunities?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, one piece is, so both of us attended HBCUs. And so that's part of how the film came to be centered around HBCUs. That and the fact that of all the movies that have been made since 1970, only 2% of them have starred Black women over the age of 60. So we knew we needed to uplift Black women. We also needed to spotlight HBCUs because there are still so many folks in the mainstream media that don't even know what an HBCU is,
Right.
even though our vice president is a graduate of Howard University. Yes. So one thing that we're doing within the film is we don't name a particular HBCU because we want to feature multiple of them, which is another thing that goes back to the kids. It allows them to do a scavenger hunt, if you will, on the screen, so that they can see which HBCU is this one, which is that one. And we're also spotlighting them on our social media networks as well.
That's good. That's good.
Definitely. I have a question. Just want to know, because you're attached with the sorority, how did being that sisterhood help you, both of you, manifest this wonderful project? What kind of support was there? Or what are the benefits of a sorority for those that may not even know what a sorority is?
Oh, wow. Well, the many benefits of being in a sorority, again, is the sisterhood. Without them, I mean, you wouldn't be able to have some of the resources that you need, whether if it's certain actor or producer, director, if it's finances, is it like a brand, whatever you need a research for or resources for, that's what your sisterhood is there for. We're also part of, community scholarship. That's what being a Delta and just being a part of the sorority is. So I feel like always wanting to help people. That's why I got involved with this film, because I've always wanted to help. And then with kids, they have no choice on how they're brought up. I feel like a lot of it is not a fault of their own, their circumstances. And so all we can do is try to help them and try to help cultivate them to be more than what they expect that they can be and bring that light out of them. Right. So I just feel like being a part of this project is something that I've always been, a giving person, and I want to help excel someone to be better than what they are. Because again, at the end of the day, it's more than about you. It's about helping that next person so they can grow. Right. And again, our children, as Whitney say, are our future. So we have to respect that at the end of the day. So,
Amen.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Well, definitely appreciate. You want to give us like some information when we are looking forward to seeing this film? Where are some of the places we're going to be able to find it and continue to support the film and things like that?
Well, our goal, just to say at the beginning, is this is going to be a movie that's going to the theaters. This is going to be a movie that you'll be able to stream. This is not just going to be a movie that's just streaming only. We want to be able to have this to be beyond our wildest dream, because we're not just making one film. We want to make 3 films, and each one has a storyline to help us evolve as people. So we just want to make sure that our message is heard and that we can also help in the process.
Right. Amen.
So you can check us out at acollegereunion.com and follow our process. And something that we're doing differently is we've clued you all in before the film has even begun shooting. Right. Because to your point, we want students to be able to see what is it to be a writer, a director, a producer. So we're going to be filming our journey on the back end. You can check that out on our YouTube channel as we go along the full process. So acollegereunion.com. Right. And because we are also partnered with Brace Yourself, which is a nonprofit, we are accepting donations. This is an independent film. So acollegereunion.com, and you can /donate now to donate to our cause.
Awesome.
So I before you go, I just want to get, pull another layer off of this conversation, Carla. What led you to go to a HBCU from your environment?
Yeah, a great question. So being from Chicago, I saw the Cosby Show and I saw A Different World. And actually someone gave me a Morehouse hat when I was about 12 for my birthday. And I used to tell everybody that I wanted to go to Morehouse. And then someone gently told me Morehouse was all boys. Maybe I wanted to consider Spelman. And then from then on, that's where I decided I wanted to go. Yeah. So that was my number one choice. And it was the best decision of my life.
Amazing.
How about you?
Miss Reed?
I feel like I would have been awarded some of the opportunities that I had going to a UAPB. I didn't graduate from UAPB going to a HBCU school, but it did allow me to be able to work in a degree plan I did not even think I would have an opportunity to. Right. Unfortunately, other things happened while I was at that school, and then I had to transfer, but it's still, I continued in my degree plan. It just wasn't for me. Acting was always my world. And my thing is, what I'm taking from this, I wish I had the opportunity to do television and film where I grew up. It just was one of those things, again, they don't see you doing this, unfortunately. You can't make a living from this. You can't make money from this. Like, are you serious? And so I had to prove to them I'm capable of doing this. I picked up and I moved out to California to make it happen for myself. But now things are changing. They see that we are someone you should be paying more attention to behind television and film. And so a lot of the schools are starting to create that more in their degree plan. And so I'm very thankful for that now, that they're getting more resources that they can see we can benefit from that. So that's what I'm appreciating now going forward.
Amen. Amen.
Yes. And lastly, that part of, we're discovering, the school systems, not that it's right or wrong or good or bad, but they don't teach self-discovery. They don't teach that child to that self-love, that self-worth. It's more of a take this education because you have to get a job in this, and that's it. And so, like I said, there's so much that goes on in that environment and that identity crisis, right? So again, if you're elementary to middle school, by the time you're ready to transition to that next grade, maybe you're not connected to your mom and dad like you used to. There's some disappointments there's some upsets, there's some we think we're abandoned and now, so I'm turning to my peers for acceptance and love. And that's where we see that we lose that child because the self-discovery is not there. I'm trying to find love from my peers, and you might find it for a couple of years. And then when that relationship is broken with that peer group, you're out. And if you're not an athlete, or in some club, then what are you susceptible to? Gangs, violence, predators. And so that's where we see is that the behind the scenes of that is that emotional and helping that child have that self-discovery early in the tools, right? The emotional intelligence, all of those, the listening skills, the conflict resolution skills, those things that, the school system don't teach is what we feel like if we add that, we add that value, now you have the ability to go wherever you want to go, in that school system or whatever type of job that you feel like you're included. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Definitely. No, you're totally correct.
Yeah, I love that about sports. I mean, I grew up too. I mean, y'all don't know, I played volleyball. So I
see? Above the rim. Above the net. Yeah.
Trophies set up, but I play sports and I do value the relationships I still have with my coaches. Another reason why I'm part of Delta Sigma Theta, both in my coach college and high school, they definitely paved the way for me. And I definitely believe in unity and playing sports.
Divine Nine in the house.
Well, we appreciate your time tonight. Look forward to having some more discussions with you as this develops. And again, that K through 12 is something that's really important to me because I didn't discover these kind of tools, even though I was in the military for 24 years. I still had some emotional intelligence issues that never really got developed, or that I thought that I was suffering in silence. Well, I was suffering in silence and had no idea that I could actually have tools to help unravel some of the stuff that I was dealing with as an adult. So that's why for me it's important to get these conversations to that K through 12. So they don't have to deal with what I did with that 40 years old. I'm 53 now, so this last 13 years I've been free from a lot of my past issues. And so if we can give that early, if I'd have got that when I was like, 7, 8, 9 years old, that it could have been a different process in life. But, I'm blessed that God allowed me to go through that process, make it through, and then discover that freedom, and then now be able to articulate that and give it back to our community. So I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you all. This is you all are doing phenomenal work, really.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yes,
God
thank
bless.
you for
God
giving
bless.
us a platform.
No doubt.
Problem.
All right, Coach.
No problem.
We good?
Locked in, always locked in.
All right, thank you so much. This is the FarronDozier Show, special edition always with the Sports Collective, TV, media, radio, music, talk, sports. When we care about a lot of things, outreach, veteran talk. So you'll find it all here, right here on the KCAA radio. We're going to play these public service announcements. We got some athletes coming up in that Sports Collective conversation, and then we'll be right back. Shout us out. What's the count?
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmago.com to learn how you can get Calmago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
Zetovia salve, made from natural and organic ingredients, good for inflammation, poor circulation, hemorrhoids, yeast infection, lip sores, dry coughs, eye pain, minor cuts and bruises, and ready to purchase at BotanicaHerbalCO.com. 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 Sickle cell trait is an inherited gene. Most people aren't aware of the risk factors and how this gene is inherited. For more information, visit WDCONSCT.org. You're listening to The Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM in the Inland Empire. Also streaming from the KCAARadar.com website, MBR Radio, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, Google Play, Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, Podcast, Stitcher, Amazon Radio, just to list a few. Oh yeah, and the streaming videos are located at Tiki Live or Rumble under the Farron Dozier Show. Catch us live or catch us on the archives at the Farron Dozier Show. Shout us out, what's the count? Visit FarronD.com for more information. All right, welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio. We're going to go right to the phone lines. We have Isaiah. You there?
Hello?
How you doing, man?
Great. First, I just want to thank you guys for having me on. I'm really appreciative and excited for this opportunity, so thank you.
No, man, we're also grateful for your time tonight, too, man, so thank you for hanging out with us.
Yes, sir.
Super excited to have you on. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
So let's get right into it, man. You I'm looking at like a 5-0 right now.
Yes, we're 5-0.
Quarterbacking?
Yes, sir.
So you kind of the leader of the team there, huh? Not, I won't say, I will remove kind of, you are, right? The leader of the team.
Yes.
How's that five? Go ahead.
No, you finish.
I was going to say, how's that 5-0 right now? How does that feel?
It feels great. You know, the team has completely bought in throughout spring, summer. We've bought into a winning mindset, a winning culture. So this isn't just me, you know, I'm one of the leaders, but Coach Bechtel, our head coach, he preaches to us always to play in humility and to always just keep staying hungry. So
let me ask you, what had you buy in?
What had me buy in?
Yeah, what had you buy in?
In terms of
to the program.
Coach Bechtel and I have developed a great relationship, and I really believe him. You know, the last 2 seasons, prior to this season, Damian went 3-7, but it was never a talent issue. It was never it was never like a player issue. I think it was just a matter of a certain mindset, and I think this team has really learned how to create that winning mindset and culture, and you know, we just take it game by game, week by week. Never look too far ahead in the season. Never get too cocky or arrogant.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, you said it. When you said humility in the beginning of your conversation, that let me know right there. That mindset is most important, and that's for me is that conversation as well. But so before I pass the ball off to the other host here, you know, mental toughness is important for me, right? You know, it's like as you said, there's a level of humility. There's that interpersonal relationship that you've got to be able to deal with yourself first, set aside your own pride, right, to give that away to the team. So for you, where did you develop your mental toughness from?
I believe I've developed it just over the years of playing football. I've been playing football since I was 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to credit it a lot to my 14th year. I played for the OG Ducks my 14th year, and every year the best players want to play on that team, and that's for a reason. The coaches, they help you develop a certain dog type of mentality
Mm-hmm.
that you really carry on not only in football but like mental toughness in life and just in general. A certain level of grit.
Amen.
So I credit a lot of it to my 14 coaches and also to my parents.
Mm-hmm.
They even though I'm only a sophomore, I've been overlooked and just certain opportunities haven't came my way, but my parents never let me quit or let me deviate from the plan. So I credit a lot of that to them.
That's cool.
Definitely, young man. You sound very well spoken. I definitely want to just shout out your parents for doing a really good job. Yeah. The question that I have for you as the quarterback of the team, how and being that leader that the others in the locker room and in the huddle look towards you for your leadership, how has that leadership that you cultivated on the field have been beneficial for you off the field in the pursuit of your education as a scholar?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. I believe leadership in football really carries into life in general. Just getting you guys to buy into you, that's one of the most important things for me. And it's really gave me confidence. I would say it's given me confidence more than anything else. In school, in life in general, it's really just giving me confidence.
Amen.
Yeah.
Hey, Ariaza. This is Coach Will speaking.
How are you, Coach?
I'm doing great. Man, I know that you mentioned a couple things about, just kind of finding yourself, being confident, playing for, a great program like the OG Ducks and, finding a different side of yourself, because I know you to be a very, very, articulate kid, very educated. You're very balanced in your approach. So I could see how playing with a certain program like that had, implemented another part of you, right? It's that dog, as you would say, right? But it's something that's kind of naturally there that you have, and then you just put yourself in a situation to pull it out. So, from that perspective of your life, when you look back and say, and this is like a big deal nowadays with kids that reclass, can you talk to us about, like how was that transition for you until now? Did that benefit? Do you feel like that really benefited you as a player? And, how that's helped you, develop to be the leader that you are, to control a room, because it takes a lot to be a quarterback for people to believe that, you're going to make that throw. You're going to not fold on them during crunch time. It takes a very, very strong mind. So how was that transition for you? Like saying, just kind of coming out of middle school into high school to where you are now.
Yeah. The reclass year, I really believe not only helped me develop like physically, but more importantly mentally, because I think that's like the biggest aspect that separates like the elite from just being pretty good. Because there comes a certain point in your football career where like everyone can run fast, everyone can throw the ball, everyone can hit hard, everyone can read what a cover 2 or cover 4 defense looks like. But that whole back year really allowed me to develop, me to become a lot more mature in just decisions.
For sure.
Decisions in life, decisions in football. So it's definitely worth it. I it's not easy, but it's definitely worth it, and it's paid off.
Amen.
I mean, I just want to shout you out, man, because you're having a big year. The stats are looking amazing. You have some great talent around you, and you're doing great with spreading the ball around, leading your team. And, man, congratulations on the trip to Hawaii. You know, just keep going, man. Wish your team, wish the program well. You do have a great coach in Coach Bethel and that entire staff. So I wish the Damien program nothing but the best.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Hey, one last thing for me before you get out of here, man, is how important is your hydration, man?
Great question.
Hydration is very important. I probably should stay more on top of it because these last few nights I've caught myself cramping, waking up. But hydration is very important. Yeah, it's extremely important.
Yeah. Well, Noah water is really good at keeping you hydrated and dressing and keeping you balanced.
Definitely, man. Again, thank you, man. I'd like to have you back, in the near future, man, so we can get some in-depth.
Got to get you in the building.
Yeah, especially if you can come live in person. But we appreciate your time tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. All right, you're listening to the FarronDozier Show on KCAA Radio. We're going to play some public service announcement and get right back to our next caller, so don't go nowhere. Shout us out. What's the count?
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes. In moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmago.com to learn how you can get Calmago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
Zetovia salve, made from natural and organic ingredients, good for inflammation, poor circulation, hemorrhoids, yeast infection, lip sores, dry coughs, eye pain, minor cuts and bruises, and ready to purchase at BotanicaHerbalCO.com. 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 Sickle cell trait is an inherited gene. Most people aren't aware of the risk factors and how this gene is inherited. For more information, visit WDCONSCT.org. You're listening to the FarronDozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM in the Inland Empire. Also streaming from the KCAARadar.com website, MBR Radio, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, Google Play, Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, Podcast, Stitcher, Amazon Radio, just to list a few. Oh yeah, and the streaming videos are located at Tiki Live or Rumble under the FarronDozier Show. Catch us live or catch us on the archives at the FarronDozier Show. Shout us out, what's the count? Visit FarronD.com for more information. All right, welcome back to the FarronDozier Show on KCAA Radio 106.5 FM 1050 AM. We're going to go right into the next caller. You're live. Shout us out, what's the count? You there?
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi. How you doing?
All right,
Thank
John.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, John. How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Everything's cool, man. So you kind of been listening to the show. You kind of know how to flow. So introduce yourself and just give us a little bit of background.
All right. My name is John. I go to St. Francis High School. I'm a junior, class of 2025, and I play quarterback.
Cool. Another QB. So with you, as you may have heard the kind of dialogue, that's a very important position on the field, that leadership role, that level of confidence. So give us, how did you, develop that in your life to be able to play that position?
Well, yeah, I started playing football at a young age, so I kind of knew how the game went.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've watched a lot of my older friends play football, and I knew what it took to be a leader and how they led the team. So I kind of had an idea how to lead the team before I went to high school.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about mental toughness, where would you say you developed that from? Your environment, your parents, playing football at a young age? Where did that develop from?
Yeah, definitely all those things. You know, my parents, they've always, taught me mental toughness. I would say all the hard work in the off season, all the training, all the late nights, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, brother. Nice to meet you. This is Ipiani. Wondering, seeing that you're the quarterback and you have to be able to diagnose coverages before you snap the ball or as you're snapping the ball, right? And people are moving all around. But that awareness that you have developed on the field, has that awareness spilled over into your real life and in your real walk and when you're dealing with the real world off the field, being more aware of your surroundings, more aware of opportunities? Has it spilled over into your regular life as well?
Yes, on the field, anything can happen at any time. When something goes wrong, you can't get stuck on that play, or else the next play's not going to be good. And you can think about the same way in real life. Something can go bad, but you always just got to move on from it.
Amen. Well said. Well said.
Yeah. Hey, John, it's Coach Will speaking.
Coach.
How you doing, man? So looking at what you have, you play for a really, really great coach in Coach Dean Harrington. The coach has been around and has seen some of the best quarterbacks, developed some of the best quarterbacks from the Division I college level all the way to the pros. It's kind of a two-part question, man. So, how is it, playing for Coach Dean? I played for him, so I have a first-hand experience. I do know.
Bias
but, how is it, playing for Coach Dean? Do you feel a lot of pressure? Do you feel, he's just, really good with you as far as developing and educating in the process? And then also, how is it being the leader of that St. Francis program as it was going through a rebuild?
Well, it's a lot of fun playing with Coach Harrington. He has a lot of experience, and I trust him a lot. There's pressure, but I trust him just because of what I've seen with his past quarterbacks and what they've been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, he I wouldn't say he makes it easy for me, but he does help me a lot, and I'm learning a lot from him.
Definitely.
And then with the team, it just feels really good winning. Everyone's behind me, and we work really well together. Yeah, we have a really good team this year.
Definitely do. I agree. You guys have played some really good games, won some big games, and I know that the schedule coming up is going to get, it's going to get stronger. Competition will remain, but I know that you'll have you'll do well, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you putting up big numbers because I know that offense produces, and continue to grow and continue to be a good leader for that St. Francis program.
Amen. Amen.
You mentioned just real quick on the pressure. What does that pressure mean to you? What does that look like?
Well, we know games, the expectations are really high. With a coach like Dean Harrington,
Mm-hmm.
we have to have a high-scoring offense, so we know that the mistakes have to be limited.
And then that draws that inner pressure experience for you to I would say pay more attention to yourself, huh?
Definitely.
Yeah. Anything, Coach, before we go?
Can you say it again? Cut out.
No, I know. I said does that pressure reinforces you to pay more attention to yourself, so that your level of confidence develops. What comes from that pressure for you? More confidence, more courage.
A
Yeah, I
diamond.
would definitely say more confidence, because when we're able to thrive under the pressure, it just feels really good.
Yeah,
Amen.
for sure.
Definitely, man. Well, we want to get you in studio and bring you back soon, John. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Drop your social media so that people know where to find you and know where to keep up with you. Twitter, prefer.
My Instagram is jsanders_4, and my Twitter is @4jsanders.
In the future, Coach Will, I would love to hear your thoughts on the NIL deals and the good, the bad, and the ugly that's happening at the high school levels that you're seeing with those opportunities coming in with the NILs.
Yeah, we definitely have talked about that a couple of times on the show.
Okay.
And we'll definitely bring that topic back because it's always important as the NIL business is going to continue to evolve. But I'm always trying to get my guys aligned with NIL opportunities because they deserve it. You don't have to wait till you're a pro to get paid anymore. And like we mentioned earlier, there's so many ways to for this game to be lucrative for you, post career. So right now we like to get the kids paid. It's motivating, and even if it's not through currency, sometimes it's sponsorship, and sometimes it's just relationship building. So it's a lot with the NIL. But thank you again, John. We will bring you back, man, and good luck this season.
Good luck.
All right, thanks for tuning, listening in. This is the Farron Dozier Show, special edition of Sports Collective TV, Media, Radio. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, at Sports Collective Media. Shout us out, Worcester County.
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes, in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmago.com to learn how you can get Calmago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
Zetovia salve, made from natural and organic ingredients, good for inflammation, poor circulation, hemorrhoids, yeast infection, lip sores, dry coughs, eye pain, minor cuts and bruises, and ready to purchase at BotanicaHerbalCO.com. 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 Sickle cell trait is an inherited gene. Most people aren't aware of the risk factors and how this gene is inherited. For more information, visit WDCONSCT.org. You're listening to The Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM in the Inland Empire. Also streaming from the KCAARadar.com website, MBR Radio, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, Google Play, Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, Podcast, Stitcher, Amazon Radio, just to list a few. Oh yeah, and the streaming videos are located at Tiki Live or Rumble under The Farron Dozier Show. Catch us live or catch us on the archives at Farron Dozier Show. Shout us out, Worcester County. Visit
KCAA is your CNBC news affiliate. We're the station that gets down.